So this is from a real, one of the many principal executive officers. You can put an S in parentheses there. Principal resident or president, because that's what it actually means. Principal resident means the live, living being that's a resident of these, what is known as but also known as United States of America. So people, with this information, your capstone, which is nothing of the sort, that's your head. But for the sake of this one line, I'll say here, with this information, your capstone is now returned to you. With this info, your head, what you should know, in other words, knowledge basically that was kept from you, is now returned to you and reattached, making you whole. You always were, you never were not, and alive. Always were, never were not, since you were, let's just call it upon your arrival. Or here and now, capitated. And again, you never were now. Now I have on this lower left-hand corner here, as you can see, something you might recognize. So, here's just a big point that I wanted to make. Do you get the real meaning? Speaking capstone, do you get the real meaning of this symbol now? And as you are forced to use / carrier or carry it, do you get it now? I'm pretty sure that you might from this point. But anyway, I also have now they, meaning the Franks, Nazis, intelligence community, they issue and you deposit using a money of account. People don't know this, but banks banks only give you an accounts payable because they have split fever, remember. So they only give you the accounts payable side, or the debit side of the accounts payable side. They don't give you the credits side of the account. That's why you have to use the money of account. So, excuse me, but anyway, later, which is hopefully not too long from this point, I have on here April 15th, 2026. It's a little later than that now, but you can use this date. But after this, hopefully just a short time after this, so I put later, you will issue, because that's how it's supposed to work, and that's how it actually still works if you use constant purchasing power as your accounting method, and are not blocked, war criminally blocked from it. So it's just a little later from now. You issue and you posit. Look up the prefix for DE, D, and it means subtract. They just don't put that on all your, accounting forms, tax forms, whatever. But they know there's a negative there. All right. When you can simply pay with your autograph or your signature, charges are offset to your inherited American U.S. Treasury or, American U.S. Treasury account that as of today, again, it's a little later than that right now. It's just a few days later, but April 15th, 2026, new system, NS, as we know it to mean, so there's no mistake here, certain CIA and or intelligence community, because that's where they all nest, the Franks, Nazis, associated blocking teams is or are using, as long as they can block the sovereign American from said sovereign American's own inheritance. That can also be called heritage or whatever, but that includes inheritance. But I just like to say inheritance so there's no mistake or miscomprehension, I'll say. That is your enterprise, estate, and or business account, American U.S. Treasury account, so that's you're going to use to offset everything, and or that's our privileges, people, not theirs, and or business account. And so they call them any one of those, or estates, 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 whatever. And access, which the praetorians, which I told you are actually the attorneys, will call easements to it. They, the Franks Nazis, do this when you claim your own inheritance or estate via the IRS, what is known to mean the IRS. That's exactly how it happened to me. There's a trust law that, you see, you're never told about this, so there's no way you can follow a 90-day time limit to do certain forms you don't know about. But in my case, on the 91st day, because it's trust law now, it's UTC, I believe it's Uniform Trust Code. Again, that's code. It's not a law, but code. But they do. They will follow it, and they will push it upon you via the IRS. Claim your own inheritance or estate via the IRS, and then said blocking team is deployed upon the sovereign and the true American and the true American, I'm sorry, I've got too many parentheses, intercepting mail, and the blocking team, I'll tell you about those in just a second, but the blocking teams are unbelievable. They're programmed, people. They're literally dead in the head. Their brain has been downed, like you can just imagine it, this is the way I put it. It's been down and brought back up halfway, but customized to something you would not believe. And they believe only what they're programmed to believe and to answer only their handlers. So they intercept mail with no problem. They think there's nothing wrong with it. They need to read the postal code, the postal laws. Estate-related 24/7 visual and audio hidden tech. The hidden tech they use, and let me continue this. Watching you, take a crap or pee, shower, have sex, change your clothes, go to the store even because of what I'm about to tell you, and etc. Now, this hidden tech, what I found, people, is it's tech. That's called, one is where they hijack your vision. They actually hijack your vision, and they can put it on their computer screens, their phones. They can share it with their co-minions, and it's just the most invasive thing you can do to a human being. It's war crimes, crimes against humanity, all that stuff. That is what is actuated upon myself right now. That's why I get a bird's eye view into their little scheme here, and I don't even want it. But I'll take the information as long as I can pass it on to the true American people. But it needs to end immediately. So there's two main ones where they hijack your vision. That's called Me Service, or Mini Embedded Stereo Vision System. And what happens is they will either do it by an implant, or they can even use like nanotechnology when you put something in a drink or whatever. But anyway, they use it. The way it's used is tapping the back of your eye sockets, which carry your vision signals to your brain and then your eyes, and then that's how you see. Well, they get in between. They follow it's the perfect model they follow every time. You have two end users, A to B, and they break in the middle. That's where they nest, And that's where they can get one set of information one way, one set of information the other. And that's how they watch everything you do. Everything you do. It's an unbelievable crime against humanity, people. So that's the hijacking vision one. The second one is called V2K or V2 skull. Like your head, V2 skull. And what they do, one more thing I forgot to tell you about the hijacking vision system there. Look up the word gaze. You can look it up in Wikipedia or wherever. But if you do, use that and don't look it up anywhere else by itself. But look it up under GAZE. And if that'll tell you what it is, this is what they're doing. And then you go down to oppositional, at least in my case, and they just oppose everything you're doing. Everything. And they're programmed to do that because they're not intelligent at all. But what happens is they can receive one command in what's called environmental variables, not to get too techie with you, and it's easy for them. That's one command. So there's just, sense what you want to do and try to block it. From getting ice cubes to beverages to food to, it's unbelievable, people. And that is called, look up GAZE, gaze. And you can spell that another way, and it wouldn't really matter because that's exactly what they do. Or, I'm sure you've heard it by now, why all the reason for the, I think most of you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the second one is called V2 skull or V2K, V2 skull. That is where they force you to hear them. It's basically, it is, you will hear it, you will hear them live. They'll try to put something out there, oh, it's just automated, it's a computer. No, it's all live. It can be mixed in with some. They seem to have only 4 vocabulary. But I'm going to cover this, I think, on the next screen here. But, they'll just, and what they try to make you do, they'll try to drive you insane, is what they're trying to do. Try to get you into a controlled environment, like a mental ward. That's exactly where they belong. And if not there, because this is treason against this country, people. They're attacking the true American sovereign people directly. That's treason, and that's a 90-day death sentence and execution. Okay? But this V2 skull, they force you to hear them as their dumb blocking teams, which are keeping your estate privileges from you. If you find out about it and if you claim it, they will try to block it from you. And they use it. They will use it, not you. And that'll make you mad as hell. And that's what's triggered probably a lot of this that's going on right now. I expect much better days very shortly here, but this is what they're doing right now, people, and they're doing it to me as I speak, as I put this information out right now. I'm going to cover this on the next screen, but just to make this clear, they give them all names per their function. If you had to do with this, they'll, garbage pickup, they'll give you a garbage pickup name. If it has to do with an office job, they'll give you an office job name. If it's religious work, they'll give you a religious name, like, Christine, like Christ, Christine, or Christina. And, they'll use the first and last names for that, and the middles, actually. For example, this could be exact or like, but, for example, like the blocking team that has been so treasonously assigned to me and deployed on myself right now, it may be exact to, or sound like, or be exact to, one Maylene, the E-N-E, Maylene Taylor Sutera, and her, what's called an underboss or crew assistant leader, whatever. She's a crew leader. And they like to use the females, like, I believe now people might know as certain, if you take the AM off of America, you'll get that, the rest of that, and which most people know that name by now. They use the females to be the crew leaders and males to be the assistant crew leaders, but they're not intelligent, and in a lot of cases, in what I saw, they're very small. They're very small. They can't sense their safety for themselves, but until it's like right up on them. That's why they stay right there, no matter how much you tell them you've already caught them, doing what they're doing. And they stay right there until they're forced to go. And you have to go to, whatever justice court or whatever. And even those are not. But what I usually suggest is that you make clear that when you do that, you're going there because you're a sovereign, you're actually above the court. You go there for the sake of their behavior and controlling their own, because they put them there, not your behavior. Okay? All right, people, so these estate blocking teams or estate bandit blocking teams have been doing these treasonous war crimes to myself. I've already told you privately, for this particular crew has been it will be 7 years. About 7 years, not days, months, years. And it's been one consistent, continuous, unbroken stalk, harass, and trespass of my just basic human rights, as people know them to mean. And, they're trying to stick to you like that remotely, using your hijacked vision and the V2 skull, forcing you to hear what they say and all that stuff, to try to either drive you insane, to lock you away, or until you're dead. It is the biggest act of treason and crimes against humanity you've ever seen, people. But that's what they've been doing to me, to myself, for 7 years. I'm sick of it and getting ready to do something about it here. But you now have this information. Bribing each and every landlord and neighbors nearby around you for support. So should you walk out and go outside, go for a walk, whatever, they have the neighbors come out and watch you as a psyop. It's sick. And they use your estate privileges, your estate monies to do it. Because they have nothing, they are nothing, they have no talent, they're sick. They're psychopaths, and they're programmed to be like that. All right, and the ultimate reason is to continuously, not just once, it's been about, I think, 6 times now for myself, to falsely evict you. It's called displacement. They program them to think that they never were. But they just, to work with, the intelligence community as associates or minions. But they will continuously try to stick to you, falsely evict you. You'll have the police, the sheriffs, the courts, everything will, up to this point anyway, will not do anything about it because they receive phone calls from one particular intelligence community, probably a central one, again and again. That's called displacement. To try to scare you, drive you insane, and to keep you busy and wounded so you cannot continue on with your life. Demanding your own, but especially demanding your own estate or inheritance because they want it so bad. They're trying to steal it. Something that you were never even taught about. Access and privileges, not to mention the Internal Revenue Service, if I didn't say it that way earlier, financially. People, at the end of the 90-day period of which you have no knowledge of what to do or forms to use because they hide all that from you too, they will claim, oh, they never did anything in the 90 days. We can send somebody out to see who this false imposter is. And it's actually They are the imposters. And they're stealing your identity to use your state privileges. That's what they're doing, people. Just to be able to, who can continue a 7-year continuous stalk, harass, trespass of your personal life, your private life, and public life for 7 continuous, now not spotty, not once a week, not once every day, continuous 24/7. With the vision hijacking and the V2 skull technology I told you about for 7 years. How do they do it? Financially and time-wise. Who's going to watch another human being for 7 years unless they're programmed? Okay? So, and one more thing, just so you know about the technology or the tech, the ME service, MESVS, or Mini Embedded Stereo Vision System, that's the vision hijacking stuff. Using the back of your eye sockets to put what you see on their computer screens, like the movie The Purge, or The Purge 2 or 3, or whatever it was. What they're looking through the individual's eyeballs, that's exactly what they do. And they do use these movies to put that out there as information to their minions. That technology and the V2K or V2 skull, which forces you to hear what they are saying, both of them together, basically manufacture what's called in their language a gaze, gazing into your window, like from sometimes on the same property, but sometimes remotely. Right now with me, sorry, my mouth's a little dry here. With me, it's remote, but I've had every situation. They will try to put an asset in your living arrangement or your work arrangement or whatever every single time. Okay, and that's exactly how they do it, but it creates what they call a gaze, like gazing through a window. There's several types, but the most popular, what's been done to myself at the time being, is for the past 7 years, is the oppositional gaze. Don't look it up independently. You have to go to gaze and then look it up under that, and you'll come across oppositional, and it tells you exactly what they do. It's complete psyops. They're trying to drive you insane, so you cannot go on trying to claim your estate, which they're trying their best to keep in perfect, untouched, abandoned condition. So when you get locked away, when you die, when you are, they drive you insane or whatever it is, they can go in and claim it, or they will go in and claim it, and say, oh, the property's abandoned. Forgive me for saying so, people, but my ass. Okay? But on that 91st day, what gave... first of all, I had already gone through all the forms. I'd already claimed my estate twice with the IRS. On that 91st day, under the UTC trust law, 90-day waiting period, which they're supposed to help you, not commit war on you. That's treason. On the 91st day, I received a fake IRS threat phone call. And if you continue to try to do it, eventually they try to penalize you for that, for claiming what's already yours. All right, this is what is being done right now, at least as of this day, which it's, I believe it's around April 23rd, 2026. It is April 23rd or 24th, 2026 right now. NS, new system, as we know it to mean, and that's exactly what they're doing. And that's what these blocking teams do and are. And they live together in the smallest of rat holes, and they call it a monastery, so it can fit under their religious ways of operating supposed religious government. We don't need religious government. It's called pastoral care they're giving you. Look that up, pastoral care. We don't need religious government because we already have religious freedom. And that is on your political side. You have political, which already includes your religion, but they will say that religion is the other half. There is no other half. It's included under your political free elections or free choices life. And it dominates religion every time if it's done properly in any court system. But you'd be surprised what court means. It's basically your kitchen table because you're sovereign. And I also have here, not to mention internal revenue, I just told you about that eventually. Treasury Direct, it's not the U.S. Treasury, people. Even though it says .gov, it's Treasury Retail Securities, the exact opposite of your credit that is due to you, your inheritance. That's what it is. And they'll go in, you don't do anything, they won't talk to you about it, they'll just cancel your account once they know that you've claimed your estate. Okay, and guess who lets them know that? I just mentioned it. Fidelity Investments. In the world of bonds, people, you have a bid bond for contracts, a payment bond. They never teach you this, and they will never admit to it. But those two together, that's the debit and credit bonds. Together equal in whole, remember I told you they have split fever, your fidelity bond. And that is basically like your estate. So a 1040 form is like your debit side or commercial side. Your credit is the 1041. But even though you do all of that perfectly and beyond perfectly with portability and elections and check elections on there and everything, they'll still try to, instead of help you, penalize you, believe it or not, to try to scare you away from it. Right. Okay, so, but the bid bond and the payment bond equal your fidelity bond. They just happen to name one of the companies, so it's obvious for their minions to find. Fidelity Investments. That's where that is. I opened 2 accounts with them, and this blocking team, this is one of the things they do. They will immediately, once they find out you open the account there, they'll call them up, they'll have them close it, and the fraud department will say you committed probably some kind of fraud, but when you call them, they will never talk to you. Just letting you know what they're doing as of today. Okay, and I mentioned today's date earlier. That's Fidelity Investments. I also had it done with Charles Schwab, Equity Trust, and probably a couple of others, I think. Other similarities: penalizing and or canceling your accounts for just claiming and sorry, I just told you that. And they won't talk to you. They'll say, oh, we just can't open it up, and please try to take your business somewhere else, or whatever, da-da-da. And you haven't done a single thing but try to claim what's yours. Okay, what's already yours. And they're trying to keep it. It's not a secret if you know about it already and claim it, but it's, they're trying to keep it a secret, but mainly in perfect, abandoned condition so they can claim it when you die or when you are locked up or go insane or whatever, as they try so hard to do to you. It just seemed to have the opposite effect on me. So continuing on, and absolutely no reason given. I just told you that and will not talk to you about why. This is a complete self-evident admission of guilt, people. Take a gander at, just use them for what they are. Your constitutional documents, the Constitution. What I found to be is the Articles of Enterprise, the Declaration of Independence, which I found to be on July 2nd, not 4th, which I found to be the clarification of non-dependence. All the answers lie or lay in the language, people. And the Articles of Confederation, which I found to be the Articles of Federation. And that is the private side that establishes your sovereignty, and they're down in the notes, in the NCD, whatever it is. That's where it is in those documents. There's also a couple more Continental Association thing. It's literally them, and then there's a claim of rights and grievances or whatever, and I think they recently switched that over because I found it in the Articles of Confederation at the bottom. Now I think it's rights and grievances or whatever, but that's, so there's 5 technically, and I think they switched the NCD notes or whatever, sovereignty notes, over to rights and grievances claim or whatever. But now you know what that is, okay? And trust me, people, again, I beg you to take this information and use it wisely, because don't go through almost 17 years of complete torture like I have. So self-evident appears at the bottom. I think it's either the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, but these truths are held self-evident, which is self-evidence, meaning they prove their own guilt. They really do. Even on the most gentle of levels, that's all there is to it. They are guilty. The French Nazis intelligence community, at least as it appears, as I have found, because they will not stop attacking myself. And the blocking team remains fully in place as of this day, which is, I believe it was April 24th or 25th, 2026, NS, or new system, as we know it to be. All right, people, so what I have up here now is, it might throw you for a little bit, but please allow me to explain this here. As you're aware, you know, the channel name, everything, and as you can probably tell by now, a lot of these images have been Qrystal up to this point, because when somebody wants to clarify something with you, especially if they're ticked off about it, they'll say, let me make this crystal clear. Well, now you should get every answer to any question you have about the channel name or the images here in this presentation. That is, these are all images of crystals, but what's going to throw you off is this. This is, if you watched the presentation called Shall We Play a Game? They like to play war games. They just want to war on the American people, but they don't want the American people, the true American people, to know that they're warring on them. That's how pitiful they are. The Nazis, Franks, intelligence community. That's where they all nest in this country, at least as of today. Anyway, what this says is, this is Japanese, that the game of Go, and you really do need to look that up, people. It explains that in there. This is what I've done for you here, only without using that game. I put your body back together for you in their psychopathic minds. They split you into 4. If you just take the border, because the game of Go is played on the borderlines, do you not have any recollection of a talk of borders recently in the past few years? That's exactly what, at least in my view, that our current Chief Executive Officer would be the more proper title, but as you know, as President Donald J. Trump, and I can't thank him enough, because in my view, like I said, when I try to eliminate politicians, as far as doubt-wise, I start with the negative, and, you know, not including negative stuff they've said or whatever gestures they've made, whatever. That's nothing. I can't seem to, and I find something with usually within the first 2 minutes, but for years, I have yet to find a single thing that I can say against him. I think he's a very admirable man, and I love him. I wish him the best, and I thank him. I can't thank him enough. So anyway, it would take somebody. People, let me just explain one more thing about our current chief executive officer, or President Donald J. Trump. It takes somebody like him to, they want to use sarcasm and smart-ass remarks against you, hurting you, trying to kill you in every way, but they expect, oh, but if we get caught, you gotta be nice. Right. Okay, so I can't thank him enough. Anyway, but the game of Go is played on the borderlines. On the borderlines. It's not played like checkers, which is in the game spaces, squares. The game of Go has squares also. But you slide the what's called stones. Okay, that's what they're called. Or for the digital age, if you play Othello, or as they call it nowadays, reverse C, because they like to follow the Alice Through the Looking Glass, Alice in Wonderland 2. Mirror, it's part of the story, where if you go right, they go left. If you go fast, they go slow. That's how it works. So that's called reverse C, or it used to be called Othello, which they called in the digital age nowadays, they call them discs, right? So anyway, the game of Go is watch that Shall We Play a Game. It's very important. If it's split on you into two parts, please watch both parts. This is information, people, that, again, 17 years of my pain and suffering, I beg you, please don't go through it yourself. Hopefully you won't, nobody will have to very shortly here, as of today. But anyway, which I've already mentioned. But anyway, the game of Go is, it all ends up back in what we know as the U.S. House of Representatives, or U.S. Congress, with all these 23 plus a Webster quote, which means they play with definitions on you, in and out of contract, so that they can get what they want at any time. And there's all these plaques on the walls that stick out farther than the paintings, and those are called Bas-Relief portrayals, or portraits, supposedly. And it's supposed to, that's where it all ends up, and gives them power to, hoax a complete nation. Talking about President Donald J. Trump, he said it's a hoax. It's a big hoax. People, if you have understood and or comprehended everything up to this point, on this channel at least, as far as what has been presented, but at least in this series of this presentation, he's not lying, people. And he's not being less than truthful with you. It is one big giant hoax, and the ones that are really in charge, lawfully, is yourself. Your sovereign American self. And don't ever doubt it. All right, so what they do in that game, and you'll see what I created in that presentation for you. I gave you 2 gifts there, so it should shut anybody up as far as doubting who you are and what, who and or what you are, and your sovereignty. There's 2 gifts in there that I created for just that. All you got to do is print it out, and you can, you sign it, put your thumb print in red on it, your writing hand, and that's it. Both sides. Make sure they're on the same side, and you'll see what I mean, but please take a look at it. So this game of Go, lastly, is, they say it's a Chinese game, but it uses, because I speak fluent Japanese, and they use all Japanese terminology in there. So they're even trying to throw you off of that if you find it. Well, as usual, guess who ran into it? So that's right. So I have this up here because if you've comprehended everything up to this point, at least in this series, from the Trump checklist, if Trump is right, or if Trump does it right checklist, on through, and explains that game of Go and traces right back to the U.S. House of Representatives. They're not supposed to do anything outside of Washington, D.C., people, but it all ends up back there, and it's self-evident because it's all over the walls. And the third one, I believe, was Shall We Play a Game? And including this one, this presentation, then you now have your 4 parts, and I hate to say this, people. I'll show it to you in just a bit, but people wear one on their neck, and you can make it mean whatever you like, people. That's fine. Nobody was around in those days to see that, but I will tell you exactly the quadrants that they split your body into, and it's 4. Even Vatican City has self-evidence of that, and their Praetorian office or attorney office. However, the terminology in that game is Japanese, and this says omedetou gozaimasu. Any of you who speak Japanese out there, you'll know what that means. It means congratulations. If you have comprehended everything up to this point, you now have everything back together. Your mind, which is your head, your cap, or crown. That's right, people. Everybody's a king and queen who's sovereign, and the children of princes and princesses. Okay? American royalty. But your mind, which is your head, cap, it's not a stone at all, and consciousness and the knowledge that is in your head. That's what they've taken from you, people. I've given it to you back right here. And the split that took place as well. And it's all has to do with your certificate of a live birth. Okay? Your body, your head goes back on your body, which establishes now your rights, your lefts, and your rights, which I put in quotes. Most people write with so they just call them rights, but they write with their right hand. That's what your rights are, people, because you sign for everything. You see how they like to parallel definition and use and trick you and treat you to such a trick. That's why their favorite holiday is Halloween, already said. But yeah, that's your actual rights when you sign for something, making a document official or issuing your own capital. That's what it means. Functioning as one with your mind and soul, which is your knowledge, which is also basically your head, but you're aware of it. Essence and ways, and it's basically what makes you unique or makes you who you are and how you come out to be and your personality and everything. Everything is now one with you and or whole. So I say once again at the top of this or in the middle right here, the reason why you have red, blue, and purple, and I split the purple line at the bottom, people, if you notice, if you mix red and blue, which they're going to call Democratic and Republican, there is no such thing, people. You're American royalty. Color of royalty is purple. So that's what that line means. I've mixed the colors for you as well. So they want to keep your royal title away from you as well. So congratulations, people. Omedetou gozaimasu. And I've got just, I think, a few more here, and we'll get on with it here. All right, people. So again, in the last part of this. This is going to be your final part of this presentation coming up. Once again, like I said, I don't beg for nothing, but I'm going to beg you to read, or at least to view this last part of this presentation, because it's going to cover your free spending privileges or your American inheritance. That's what it actually is, which somebody else, that's they, if you've watched till now, you know exactly who they are, have been using until now. Okay, and that just ends already. Okay, so please view this next final part of the presentation coming up here, and I'm gonna beg you to view those. What I have down here at the bottom here, again, I'll just explain it again. and this really this is your whole life here. I mean, it's your lifestyle, it's your, you know, your enjoyment of life, everything that you should have had since birth, and your ancestors as well. And that's what these idiots, these psychopathic idiots, these Franks, Nazis, all the way from gypsies, grifters, Egypt, whatever, you know, you'll see it when I explain it in these presentations, what you and your ancestors also should have had. Okay, so please don't take it lightly. But what I have at the bottom here is, and it comes from Rocky IV, it says, now this is your whole life here. You know, he says it just before he goes out for the, I'm pretty sure it's Rocky IV, please forgive me if it's not, but he says it just before he goes out for the last round, because that's going to be it, man. And this is. Alright, so I'm just letting you know. I want each and every one of you to know I love all of you very much, each and every one of you. And I really mean that. God bless you, all of you, and please take care of yourselves. And we'll talk to you again here real soon. Take care.